Hello, everyone. It's me once again, the existential designer. I like to come on here and do post videos about the origins of words and theories and the designs I made from which the objective reality and dwellings within the existence comes from. And why I call myself the existential designer. I didn't invent the existence. I invented the objective reality and the dwellings within the existence. Therefore, I am the existential designer of that objective reality and dwellings within the existence. Okay, and everything of reality comes from my existential designs. Okay, and but within reality itself, since well, here, let me explain this. Reality more or less comes from a almost like a gold back of money. Okay, the gold, the money is backed by gold. Okay, but in reality, the word source of where everything is basically has to come from is also combined with characterizations, and then onto the word source, where then it is reality, objective reality. So, but within reality itself, and then from everything, there are factors of reality, which is just, okay, it is, and it's from the notions. Therefore, it's going to represent portions of reality, even though those aren't the origin, but they are a factor of reality. Okay, such as, and there's many misconceptions about that, because there's allowed freedom and human independence comes with ignorant independence. And we're in a system of control with classified and declassified. So not everybody knows everything, and it's on purpose they don't. So there is confusion. Okay, and there's a lot of misconceptions about the origin of things because of the system of control. And a lot of people are under mistaken facts, such as the origin is because of home architecture, or the origin is because of book design and architectural backronyms and acronyms and puns. Okay, that's misconceptions about factors of reality. Okay, so saying that, I'd like to bring up my discussion of today. And that discussion is about misconceptions and about origins, but is also about misspellings. So not only is it a mistaken fact, because of the factor of reality versus the origin, but then misspelled on top of that. Okay, and this is where criminals basically, but you might say what you want, like punishers, like criminal punishers are capitalizing on people. Okay, and the concept that I want to bring up is the word Catty Corner. Okay, and then I live by a graveyard. Okay, so they have the pun with, they have all the death characters, and then they have their front man of the Reaper, and then the Grim Reaper, but the Reaper. Because they always come up with points about Grim that, oh, well then Grim Ghost, Grim Zombie, Grim. But anyway, the Reaper. And why he has a scythe. Okay. Is it over this? Is it over that? Doesn't mean this. Doesn't mean that. Okay. That could go on forever in discussion. And besides the, obvious bubonic plague, Black Death, and the personification, but then the representation. Okay, but one of these puns of the Reaper is about not hockey, but golf. Okay, and it's about caddies. The caddy is the person who helps out the initial golfer, the player of golf. And the caddy, carries the bags around. And also, many caddies will give advice. Okay. And country clubs, the caddies, make a lot of money that way. Because, like, the golfers will get tips and stuff and then get help from the caddies. Okay. But here it is, that word caddy. And then the golf clubs. Okay. Now, even though Catty Corner does imply four corners, and A, B, C, D, the word Catty Corner is spelled with two T's. C-A-T-T-Y, Catty. Okay, but then why the word Catty? Right? Is it because of 4 and 4 and that's a hint? Okay. And then A-B-C-D. Okay. Now, right there is what I'm talking about, because you're going to get lost right there. And it's almost fine. You don't really need to know the origin, but you might be stuck there. Okay. Now again, it's fine to be ignorant because we're under allowed freedom, human independence, and with that ignorant independence, which is allowed. Because, for the allowed freedom and human independence, but also the notion of system of control. So, and then government being a huge example of that, with classified and declassified. So you're allowed to be ignorant, lacking knowledge. In fact, it's demanded you are. Okay, so there's going to be these misconceptions. But here's the thing. Don't persecute people over your concepts. Because you're going to be wrong. Okay, and I'll show you an example of that. Where there ain't no shit way in hell you would ever know why there's two T's in Catty Corner. Unless I'm about to tell you right now. And I'm the only one, unless you have my designs, that could ever tell you why there's two T's in Catty Corner. Okay, and I'm about to tell you. And besides golfers and white people, this might also help to explain why the ghetto has two T's. Okay. So anyway, let's get started. So the entire world, there are, there's the cosmic astral plane blue gold, and there's 10 O's in the solar system. And then they are all of the 10 O's of the solar system are based upon representations of the 7 peaks. Okay, where again, those 10 O's are one of the 7 peaks. Okay, and there's that. But then there is the first 5 characters, AA to AE. And on the earth, that represents and is the world order, is based on just the first 5 characters, AA to AE. Okay? And then, hey Alpha, were you betting? People were painted. Whoa! Blow your mind. It was the other one. It wasn't evolution. Okay, you were painted. As you can see, the column of H is white, the column of J is gold, and the column of L is brown. So high, middle, low. And it's regular rainbow 7, and then H to L, the 5 neutrals. Then M to S is neon, and T to Z is pastel. So there's only the 5 neutral. So that's where the Middle Easterns come from. No shitting. And you may have heard the story of Jesus and God. And then where we get the joint grabbers with that hinge that is not weak of the limbs. But then on to the dwellers, voodoo, and genitalia designs. But then on to dwellers' limbs for gravity and level. Okay, anyway, there is the world order of human beings. There we go again. Now, Caucasians, were bumped up to the top because AD was put second for borders. Okay, so that's 1A and then divided. So Southeast Asia. India, Southeast Asia. And of course the AAs is Australia then Africa. Okay. And then of course AB, which is red-orange, goes with the overlapping realms theory. Okay, so you have, in that whole column of, the first column is red. So it's A is red, and then AB is the Arabs. And then they are with the overlapping realm, red-orange, only back attack, Oriental, and then back. Here's where it is. This is the big one. They are Oriental Asia. Oriental Asians, Oriental Asia. So they then use the AB, but then the AA. And that's the entirety of the concept of which I'm discussing, but then with Caucasians. Okay, now let's take the word warrior, which Vikings are known for, and Caucasians. Now, warrior, even though they are, back attack and then double down on, okay, for Caucasian, using the two below them, okay, that's where warrior is too, with the AA red, but then the AB orange-red. And then where the word warrior comes from. Okay. That's sort of like Catty corner. Okay. Now here is the thing. When it comes to AA and the Australian Africans, okay, AA is regular rainbow red, regular rainbow red. Okay, but remember there is neon and pastel. So that's 3 times 3 is 9I. There's 9 red reds. Okay, but 3 of them have characters and 6 do not. And that's why Africa has a C in it. And a F. And an I because of the 9. And an R because it's all red. Okay, but it's back to the AA from Australia, Africa. And that's Africa. Okay. But notice the last character. TT. Pastel red, pastel red. That's the TT of Catty. Okay? But then, remember, then there's corner. Okay? And that is where you get the OR of then AB. Red, orange. Like the word warrior, only Catty corner. Okay. And then remember, white people have the cannibal con artist sort of the A on the end, and then 3 for the handle with the hilt stuff, and con them all. As they've done with the dwellings. And then the bathroom and kitchen stuff, and bedroom, and everything. So it's con them all. Because, once again, there are curse fates. So there is a fate of death that is different for each racial group. But as a whole, we are all humans that those could happen to. So, death itself, and the word source of it, the 2 H's of human, 2 is 121U above the ground, but then death with the 4 5s, and then to the fact, and death. So, there is a human point that we, any of the fates could happen, but the fates are different for the different racial groups. But once again, remember that AC in Africa has nothing to do with the AC of the Caucasians. Okay, and that's where you're getting where the cannibals and murderers are having a misunderstanding about the C in Africa and the C in Caucasian. And that is where all the cannibal and murderer is. Because of the misunderstanding. Especially when African Americans were only the first character AA. They were not the first people at all. Okay, that is a direct falsification of history. Okay, but because of that, there's going to be a lot of murder, and then hatred, and then claiming, And because of that claiming, murder and cannibalism. Okay? But remember, they were not the first people. So innately, their cursed fate will happen and they will get murdered over it. Okay? Because that's a fate. And because they claim and then they are wrong, they will get murdered.